Wondering why you're still single? After all, these days there are more ways than ever to meet someone. And hello, you're the whole package. You're a total catch. You deserve someone great. Think there aren't enough fish in the sea? This could be why you're Netflix and chilling with yourself.
The thing about being single is you should cherish it.
Oh my God, stop having a moment.
It might be tempting to tell a date all of the reasons you're successful out of the gate, but that might make you come off as overly focused on yourself and your accomplishments, according to licensed professional therapist Anita P. Stoudemire, owner and founder of the Better Love movement. She says, "While it's perfectly wonderful that you have a great career or you own your own business, it's never cool to lead with your education or accomplishments on a date. If you were on a job interview, sure, but it's dating.
I'm a busy professional."
Instead, see if you can slow your roll and let things happen organically, letting your intuition be the guide. Stoudemire added, "Focus on connecting with him on a basic, do I even like this guy enough to kiss him level, and leave the rest to biology. Once the guy has determined that there is chemistry between you, then you can show him all the many ways that you are wonderful to be with, including what you're most passionate about." If you're a student or a working professional with lots of ambition, most of your time is likely dedicated to the task. Relationship expert Grace Lee, co-founder of A Good First Date, says, "Statistically, women of this age are still single because they are busy bettering their lives, pursuing advanced degrees, focusing on their careers, and thereby learning about themselves."
I have a head for business and a bod for sin. Is there anything wrong with that?
While there's nothing wrong with that hustle, when you're finally able to fit dating into your schedule, you might be a little rusty at the game. Lee added, "These successful women feel bad about not having pursued dating, to the point where they might downplay their achievements. Having been out of the game for years, they lose confidence and feel aged out." If life were a rom-com, the perfect mate would find you and declare his love for you no matter what state you're in.
You're quite beguiling, aren't you? Are you feeling what I'm feeling?
No!
But until Bridget Jones's Diary becomes a reality, you're probably gonna have better luck if you put a little effort into your appearance. Anita P. Stoudemire advises, "Let's face it, men are visual creatures, and while sloshing around in baggy sweatpants and no makeup works great for you and your roommate, most men are reeled in by curves and softness. This doesn't require you to show everything you have, it's actually more exciting to leave something to his imagination. Whether it's your beautiful eyes or your hot bod or your legs for days, girl, work your favourite assets." Stoudemire added, "Find your best physical feature and play it up. He should know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is not hanging with the guys tonight." Another thing that can really hamper your dating prospects is low self-esteem. If you're having trouble feeling your value, you're going to have a tough time believing that you're worthy of love.
I've always dealt with being really insecure, so it's nice to hear.
Shut up forever.
Dr. Lisa Firestone wrote for Psych Alive, "Some women believe they want a fulfilling relationship more than anything, but they believe even more firmly that no one worthwhile would be interested in them. Our lack of confidence leaves us giving off signals of not being open, creating a catch-22 in the realm of dating."
Is this one of those fetish things where you're like a foot fetish? Am I the foot?
Do you want to be the foot?
It can also be hard to be vulnerable and really put yourself out there if you struggle with self-worth. Firestone told the outlet, "Some women struggle to make eye contact or are reluctant to scan the room for who they might be attracted to. When they are drawn to someone, they may fail to pursue their strongest attractions for lack of self-esteem." There's nothing wrong with being honest about what you're looking for in a relationship, but being overly focused on the end result rather than being present in the current experience might be sabotaging your prospects. Grace Lee says, "Dating is not about getting what you want. Dating is about opening yourself up to new people, learning about yourself, and if you're compatible."
You were great last night.
Was I?
I can't remember.
But if you're just looking for someone who checks off every box on your wish list, you might be missing the greater point of dating altogether. She added, "It's about fit, and in order to understand fit, you need to understand yourself." It's good to keep an open mind when it comes to dating, but that doesn't mean you have to date every single match on Tinder.
Okay, listen, I like it. We could dance together. That's it, we could just dance together and nothing more, nothing personal.
Love and life coach Kellyanne Garnett says, "You're still single because you date blindly. You know that you want to be in a relationship, but you aren't clear about who you want to be in a relationship with." Instead, think about what you want while keeping an open mind. That will help you narrow your dating pool to people who match you best. It takes more than just logging on to OkCupid or Tinder to be successful at online dating. So if you're not putting in the effort, you could be sabotaging yourself.
I'm on 10 different dating websites to increase my odds.
Grace Lee says, it's very common for people, not just women, to go online, have a terrible experience and cancel their account. The apps themselves reward engagement and consistent use, so this pattern works against the user. Spend some time creating a solid profile and be patient with the matching process. Lee added, the terrible experience arises from not knowing what you're doing, a last-minute profile, endless texting, and how you're showing up on dates. The great news is that online dating is still in its infancy, and for women who can use it the right way, there is a true advantage. Most people have been hurt in an intimate relationship at some point in their lives, and in some cases, that can make it tough to be vulnerable again.
I think we should break up.
What? Dr. Lisa Firestone writes, these adaptations can cause us to become increasingly self-protective and closed off. In our adult relationships, we may resist being too vulnerable or write people off too easily.
Yeah, you get the occasional odd look, but until you've been truly alone, you don't know how hard it can be.
Over time, that defensiveness can leave you feeling very alone, even if you're not completely aware of it. Dr. Firestone added, it isn't always easy to see when we have our defenses up. As a result, we tend to blame our singleness on external forces and fail to recognize that we aren't as open as we think. Dating certainly isn't easy, but there's a chance that your past experiences might be the reason why you're still single.
I don't want to brag, but girls can't stay away from me.
Oh, surely.
Really?
Watch me.
Anita P. Stoudemire says, if you've been in your fair share of relationships and they didn't work out, God forbid you were cheated on or lied to, then the chances are high that you still hold some resentment about that. Take the time necessary to heal and assess what went wrong with every dating scenario or relationship. You can do that on your own, or even better, with a therapist. Stoudemire also recommends that you own up to anything you might have done in the past to sabotage things as well, advising, most importantly, ask yourself what part you played in the relationship that ended up the way it did. Clear out the negative energy of ex's past so that you can move forward with a sense of being truly happy on your own but hopeful for any future relationship.
So, are you more a cat or a dog person?
If you're re-entering the dating pool after the breakup of a long relationship or even a divorce, chances are there's some work to be done before you're ready to date. Grace Lee says, divorce is one of those life-changing experiences that can leave a lot of emotional scarring. When you force yourself back out there without taking the time to heal, the results are often disastrous.
If happiness is out there, I just really want it.
It's truly in your best interest to give yourself the time to process your feelings in order to avoid complicating your future partnerships. Lee added, for example, a client whose husband abruptly moved out devastated her. In a subsequent relationship, she viewed every text as a potential rejection or reason to leave a very normal relationship. Are you constantly telling your friends stories about first date fails or complaining about how lousy your ex was? If so, you're only human. But according to Grace Lee, too much harping can signal that you're difficult to please.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Lee says, after enough bad dates, it's perfectly normal to re-enter the process with a hard shell. The bad date stories are fun to tell, but communicate to others that you're not putting up with anything. Not only could that energy turn off potential partners, it might also prevent you from meeting someone great. Lee added, if you're at a dinner party and talk incessantly about your ex and why you're striking out, the others at the party will be less likely to introduce you to that great friend that could be a good match. The pressure from friends and family to find the one and settle down can be too much, but maybe that's the very reason you're so independent. According to relationship expert Adina Mahali, you're still single because you choose to be self-reliant. You don't depend on anyone else for your stability, sustenance, or happiness.
Did you want to get married?
Well, I didn't think that was an option.
Choosing to ride solo means you look inward to find fulfillment, which can actually make you more desirable when love does come knocking. Maholiads! You're still single because your education and career have taught you to live up to your own expectations and no one else's. If you've experienced past trauma, it's no wonder you could be anxious about becoming intimate with someone new. Dr. Firestone told Psych Alive, "Our fears surrounding intimacy may manifest as concerns over someone liking us too much, an understandably irrational reason not to date a person. Or we may punish the other person by being critical, even engaging in nasty behaviour, essentially making sure we don't get the loving responses we say we want." Of course, each person has their own capacity for intimacy, but if you're really afraid of it, you're going to subconsciously avoid it. Firestone added, "The reality is that most people can only tolerate a certain amount of closeness. We are closed off to letting someone else in. On a deeper level, we don't necessarily want the love we say we want." If you've dealt with crushing rejection from someone you really cared about, or had your feelings stepped on one too many times, you could become overly judgmental in the future. And according to Dr. Firestone, that can cause you to dissect potential partners before you really know them. She told Psych Alive, "We may have unrealistic expectations for a partner or pinpoint weaknesses from the moment we meet someone. When viewing the world from critical or distrusting eyes, we tend to write off a range of potential partners before even giving them a chance. In order to fully open yourself up, rein in the criticisms and open your eyes." Firestone continued, "Ironically, initially we tend not to trust the people who really like us. But when we give them a chance, we find that we've chosen someone who values us for who we really are, someone who can really make us happy. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it's all about." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favourite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.